There'll be a slot for Q&A at the end of the presentation, so please save questions until then. And if you could put questions into the chat room, that would be preferable. Thank you. Okay, so first look, the agenda. During the presentation, we'll be giving you some insights into VDI and how it can benefit your customers with a cost analysis example, just to put some context into how VDI can make a financial difference to your customers' environments. We'll be showing some key features of our live demo vendor partners, followed by a short presentation from Joshua Hankin at Supermicro. After that, I'll be introducing Sid Bloodsaw from Kemp and Paul Fisher from Parallels. We'll be doing a live deployment demo to show just how easy the solutions are to install, configure, and deploy. We'll then summarize some of the key benefits of our vendors and how these can benefit your customers. And following the Q&A, there will be a live draw for the Amazon vouchers, so please make sure you're still here at the end. Right, so setting the scene. In the last 12 months, we've seen the rise of remote working. Even in a post-COVID world, it's likely that more people will continue to work from home or in a hybrid role, partly at home, partly in the office. This presents employers with some significant challenges. So what are the challenges? Let's consider security first. A large number of companies have leveraged VPNs to allow their staff to connect to the office and work from home. These employees are no longer afforded any protection behind the company firewall, but still have direct internal access to the company network and all devices on their network, which can present a greater risk to both employer and employee. Data. How do employers ensure that their key assets, data, can be accessed by users whilst maintaining security and control that is available within the network firewall? Staff. How do employers ensure that their other key assets, their staff, are able to perform their jobs in a secure environment outside the network firewall? Another point to consider is infrastructure. How do employers deliver the instances and applications that their workers need in a way that is familiar to those users? How do employers ensure that the demands on their server infrastructure are being managed efficiently? As it says at the bottom, poor provision of services costs time, money, makes less productivity, and leads to unhappy staff and unhappy customers. Time is money cost scenario. I just want to talk through a quick scenario to give some sort of context around the concept of time is money and how small delays can add up to being more costly than you might initially imagine. So, Company A has 100 users, each connecting to 2 application servers and a CRM server via a traditional VPN connection. Let's assume here that the company is paying its staff the equivalent to £10 an hour. Data throughput is the problem. Too much strain on the servers is creating delayed responses and lags. I call it the blue wheel of death. Let's say that every time a user clicks a function, there is a 5-second delay. Each user clicks on a CRM function 100 times per day and sends 100 emails. It's only 5 seconds per action, I hear, you say. Okay, let's do some sums. 200 clicks per day times 5 seconds is 1,000 seconds. Let's call that 17 minutes. 17 minutes times 100 staff equals 1,700 minutes per day. Let's call that 28 hours. So 28 hours per day lost productivity across the company. 28 hours times 250 working days per year is 7,000 hours, or £70,000 a year. The problem is that it's only 5 seconds per transaction. The employer can't tell its staff to go and do something else. They have to sit and watch a screen. So in reality, the employer is paying its staff £70,000 per year to watch a blue circle on the screen. The employee is less productive, less gets completed on time. Employees are also frustrated. We all know that feeling when the blue circle appears. The result is service levels drop, customer satisfaction levels drop, the risk of lost business increases, and ultimately the risk of losing customers increases. So, what is VDI? VDI is a way of delivering virtual desktops and applications remotely to endpoint devices. You can use VDI to install Windows 10 and Microsoft Office in a central location, like an on-premise data center or cloud infrastructure, and then deliver them to devices in your organization. Most VDI solutions can deliver to a wide range of devices, including laptops, PCs, tablets, thin clients, smartphones, or even Raspberry Pis. End users can then use the virtualized software as if it were running locally on those devices. The basic VDI function alone can provide several advantages for businesses. VDI is a perfect solution for companies seeking rapid and cost-effective expansions. VDI desktops can be tested and deployed to endpoint devices within hours. This is much faster than traditional deployment times that normally take days or even weeks. As a result, newly established offices or teams can become operational almost immediately. Once deployed, VDI desktops require a much lower admin overhead. Most management tasks, such as maintenance, monitoring, and troubleshooting, are performed in a central location. This can reduce costs and free up cash flow. In a VDI environment, not only desktops and applications are stored in a central location, data is as well. This has significant implications from a security standpoint. Even if a device is lost or stolen, corporate data won't be compromised. In addition, the centralized architecture makes it much easier for system administrators to apply security controls on digital assets. For example, software patches, antivirus installations, and security configurations can all be done in one place instead of on each individual device. Centralized architecture makes it much easier for system administrators to apply security controls on digital assets. The ease of securing devices and digital assets in a VDI environment can help businesses not only achieve compliance, but also significantly reduce the chances of data breach. Because all the processing is done on the server and is accessed remotely, it doesn't matter where the user is or what device they're accessing from. Additionally, for users that are working in a hybrid role, the user experience remains the same. So in summary, deploying VDI puts the user's work machine back inside the corporate network on a locked down machine that they don't need a VPN to reach, and which they can access via any device, beefing up security and reducing VPN deployment. They can access the network via any device with the same controls and security as if they're in the office. Their flexibility, the user experience becomes the same outside the network perimeter as it was within, and they can move seamlessly between environments with no perceivable difference to their user experience. So what's the solution? What we are offering are 4 brands for VDI solution. Supermicro servers are built to order so they fit for purpose. They're also used by some of the biggest names in the industry. You've almost certainly used them without knowing it. Kemp load balancers ensure that your servers are optimizing their output to reduce work overload and maximize throughput to improve user experience. Parallels Remote Application Server, or RAS, deliver your VDI and application to any OS on any device, anytime, and anywhere. Perfect for a hybrid work environment. And 10.6.0 clients, designed for VDI environments. Now I'd like to talk about the key benefits of our 2 demo vendors, starting with Parallels RAS. Parallels RAS provides seamless and intuitive access to digital workspaces on any device, delivering employees an office desk-like user experience, regardless of where they are. Mobile Parallels clients transform any virtual application into a fully fledged mobile app, allowing iOS and Android users to perform native gestures such as swipe, zoom in, tap to click while working on the go. In addition to effortless multitasking, hassle-free printing, and full remote FX support, ultra-fast login and quick application response contribute to streamlining processes and increasing productivity. Secure data by centrally controlling and monitoring user access. Deploying Parallels RAS reduces the risk of data loss and malicious activity. It prevents access to applications and data based on location, device, and configurable client policies. Parallels RAS supports FIPS 142 encryption and multi-factor authentication. Quickly adapt to business needs by automatically scaling your infrastructure. It can address business needs by auto-scaling the IT infrastructure on demand. It enables the mixing and matching of different technologies, such as Windows Server OSs, hypervisors, and hyper-converged solutions, and offers central management for multi-cloud deployments. Parallels RAS streamlines deployment and maintenance of VDI and RDSH infrastructures by providing a set of tools directly available from Central Console, such as configuration wizards, multi-tenant management, auto-provisioning, auto-scaling, automation, and more. And finally, cost and complexity. Streamline IT staff workloads and reduce overhead costs. Parallels RAS is an all-in-one, out-of-the-box solution, saving resources, reducing the hardware footprint, and lower overhead costs. A single licensing model incorporates all the product's comprehensive features with a fast learning curve for admins. Kemp. Application Delivery Controller, or ADC, is a fancy term for a load balancer. ADCs or load balancers have been a critical piece of infrastructure to help organizations ensure application availability and security. Usually delivered as a physical or virtual appliance, or pair for high availability, the load balancer sits in front of the application to optimize access and availability of the app. This includes providing security features in the form of SSL offload and a web application firewall to protect applications from attack. However, legacy approaches from some of the traditional names of the industry have not evolved to address the changing application experience and procurement requirements. The legacy approach requires you to predict the future throughput your apps will consume 1, 2, or even 3 years out. This guesswork can lead to either over-provision, where you spent more than you needed to, or under-provision, where you have to go back to the CFO to ask for more money because you were out of capacity. You can end up with a single point of failure and a large blast radius that impacts many applications in an outage. Doesn't align with the DevOps tools chain or continuous implementation, continuous delivery model. You might be one of the 70% of infrastructure professionals who want to replace their current ADC. I'm now going to invite Joshua Hankin from Supermicro to share some insights with you on the benefits of their solutions. There's Joshua. There we go, man. Disappears.
There we go. I see I've been unmuted. Yep, thanks. So hi guys. So I look after the pre-sales and technical side of the business for the UK and parts of EMEA for Supermicro. And so really when it comes to VDI, for us, it's a key part of the design and development process when we start to look at platforms and products that we're releasing. So what I would say with Supermicro is that we have a very, very wide and broad portfolio of product. And when it comes to VDI, we do understand that it's not one size fits all. Like with many other applications, there's varying different sizes and scale of users and types. And so we like to take that into account when developing these x86 server platforms for the market. So what we'll find is that when using Supermicro servers for a wide variety of different applications, you're not going to be under provisioning or over provisioning. Let's call it the kind of Goldilocks of servers. What we're able to do is configure from the ground up a bespoke solution for you guys to take into consideration what your current use is as well as what your future use is, and provide you with a flexible and scalable platform that will allow you to grow and implement VDI as and when you need. You know, of course, we understand that it's the amount of users you have today is not necessarily the amount of users you're going to have in 6 to 12 months, and having the ability to go in and upgrade and provide some additional feature sets as and when you need without necessarily having to go and buy an entire new set of x86 servers, we feel is very important. And so what we're also offering is the full stack of what I believe, you know, a VDI solution is. You know, outside of just a system that will host your VMs, we also have very, very large storage-based platforms. We also have GPU optimized solutions as well, if your VDI infrastructure is, you know, particularly graphically intense. And then what we're offering on top of those platforms is, if you could pass me over to the next slide, please. Thank you. Is a complete ecosystem around that. So, you know, we as Supermicro, of course, are going to create the best hardware possible and available for VDI solutions, but also there needs to be a software component there. So we are fully validated and certified on the hardware compatibility lists for vSAN, for Citrix, as well as Linux-based virtualization. We have a number of reference architectures based around that. on vSAN, or if you again are looking at a more graphically intense workload, we work very, very closely within VDI. We have our solutions fully validated by them, and have worked up reference architectures based around, you know, certain applications that the customers are using, as well as, you know, density and things like that. And those are available in what we call ready nodes. So we have pre-configured variants, but of course you can make some changes to them based around core count, memory, storage requirements, or build from the ground up, you know, using a specific CPU or memory footprint that you require. And then we've recently just had the release of 2 brand new architectures on the CPU side of things. So we've got a full array of platforms utilizing the latest and greatest technology there. You know, we're looking at more core counts and more support for memory than we really ever have before by quite a margin. We also have, for our own management systems, you know, plug-in and integration into things like the VMware's vSphere and vCenter. So what we're trying to offer here is a complete kind of one-stop shop solution. So you can take that ready node or bespoke x86 server, you can then partner that up with the desired software. And then if you require any other parts of the infrastructure, whether that be, you know, a large storage based array or a hyper-converged solution, we're also able to offer that to you as well, and make sure that, you know, the piece of kit you're getting is validated and ready to go when it hits the ground floor. So of course, you know, if you have any questions, as I said, please save those to the end. And also, you know, we're always very, very happy to talk to you guys and be able to advise on the solutions in more detail if that's required. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Joshua. Okay, now for the fun bit. So I'm going to invite Sid from Kemp and Paul from Parallels to give you a live demo of the deployment of Kemp load balancers and Parallels RAS, demonstrating the speed and ease of deployment of both vendors, which again helps to reduce costs and time. Just bear with me a moment while I give them control. All right, Paul, if you want to jump in. Helpful, actually, unmute you, wouldn't it?
You can mute myself now. Can you hear me okay?
I can't seem to unmute you, Sid, bear with me. I can hear Paul.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Paul, yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
Sid appears to be still muted.
Okay, so yeah, what we're going to show you today, good morning, I should say, before it starts, but what I'm going to show you from both Parallel side and from Kemp side is just sort of the emphasis that we put on making our solutions easy to deploy and manage on an ongoing basis. So what we've set up is in AWS, it's basically a couple of instances of virtual machines to install RAS on there. We've already deployed from the marketplace Kemp Master, but it's not configured. So that's kind of where we're at. So if I move over to my RDP client manager and see I've already connected to that Parallels RAS 1 server, I have downloaded the installer. The installer's
awesome. Okay, cheers. Thank you.
So it's not too big a download. And that's the only installer that we need. So we need to download, install, to put on different servers, etc. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just going through pretty much next. It's doing certain things like adding in the firewall rules for us. I'm not going to install single sign for now, and click install. So this will not take too long. You know, it should be a couple of seconds really. You can see it's installing roles for us onto this server. We have a role for the secure gateway, which provides primarily secure remote access, but also the HTML5 web portal that you can get users connecting to their applications or desktops without installing any client, so clientless access. So there we can see it's finished the install. So I'm going to click finish. And I'm just going to run this as administrator. And that's not something that we have to do all the time. It's just because I'm going to install a role on top, another role on this server. So I put in localhost, put in my password. You can see we're connected. But it's alerting us there that we need some what we call back-end infrastructure to deploy some applications or desktops from. So that's the first step we need to do. But I'm going to go to Farm and just show you what's been set up already. So we've got a publishing agent, which is the core component, and the connection broker, if you will, all the kind of logic and magic, if you like, it goes on from the publishing agents. And then we've got the gateway that I mentioned earlier as well. So I'm going to head over to this RD host section, and I'm going to localhost and add it to my list. I'm also going to put in the second server that we saw. And hopefully I've typed that right. So I'll put that in the list. I'm just going to go next. And you can see it's going to do some admin tasks for us. So again, it'll put various rules in the firewall and install the RDS role. If it's not installed, now that is installed just in order to save a little bit of time, i.e., just a reboot for that role install is required. It'll enable the desktop experience. So if we're running from 2019 as we are, it looks and feels to the users as a Windows 10 desktop. And that's if we publish a full desktop, and I'll show you that as we go through. So I'm just going to stick with that. Go next again. Not going to do any profile management deployment at the moment. And I'm just going to disable the optimization, and we'll just keep going there. Okay, so just provide our password again. What's happening here is it's first of all installing the RDS role from Parallels point of view onto this server, Parallels RAS1 that we're connected to, and it's also going to copy that MSI that we've used across the Parallels 2, execute it again, and install that role on there for us. And as you saw earlier in that wizard, if there is any Microsoft roles that are required, it will enable those too. So you can see it's copied over that MSI and it's executed. And that's the same process. It doesn't really matter what kind of server we're setting up. You'll see in a second, I'm going to add in a second gateway and publishing agents. It'll do the same thing. So we don't have to hop around to all the different servers and run installations on there. We can just stay in one location and do it from this console. So that's done. Click apply. We have to click apply just to set that configuration. And let's give that a quick refresh so they look okay. So now I'm going to come down to publishing agents. I'm going to add in that same Parallels RAS2 server as a second publishing agent. So we'll do that, and I'm also going to say, yeah, install the gateway on there as well. So doing two jobs at the same time. So again, you can see it's copying over the MSI. It's going to execute that. Again, just a minute or two, maybe less than that. We'll have the additional roles configured. Obviously, we want to, because what we want to do then is switch over to Sid and ask him to configure the Kemp to basically load balance the RAS infrastructure, which is effectively load balancing the gateway role. We'll give this a second, there we go. And then we'll say OK, and then we have to click apply again. So we can refresh that. Give it a few seconds, and hopefully everything comes back OK. Right, I'll move on from that. That'll be OK in a second or two. So next we've got import a certificate. So let's do that. Give it any old name. Browse for the certificate file, which is on my desktop. On the private key. Private key. Okay, that. And so, okay, we've imported that. So we're going to use that certificate and that URL to connect to. So I'm going to go to publishing now. So in effect, all the infrastructure side of things from a RAS perspective has been deployed. And if I just quickly show you, if I come to the designer, so we've got 2 secure gateways, which we're going to load balance. We've got the publishing agents, and then we've got 2 session host servers, just those 2 instances. So yeah, I'm going to come to publishing. I'm going to click on add. And first of all, I'm just going to publish a full desktop. I'm going to publish it from the session host. The others are grayed out, so don't have any sort of VDI or remote PCs deployed. And I could choose all servers in site. I could choose a group. I could go into individual ones. I'm going to choose all servers, and that means by doing that, it's just going to load balance to all those servers I've got set up. And I've just got those 2 there, so those 2 servers will be load balanced. Okay, so I've deployed the desktop. Now I'm going to do some applications. So again, I'm going to choose session host. I'm going to choose installed applications. All servers in the site again. And what this is going to do is basically look at the start menu across all the servers that I've got, 2 as I said. And again, sort of prior to this, I went over to Night and downloaded a few free applications to install on those servers. So I can just go ahead now and choose various applications. If I want to sort of deploy a whole folder, or in this case an Office suite, I can click on that and it'll allow me to select all those. We can got the classics that we can publish. So I've checked the whole bunch of them there, and then we can go next, get an overview of what we're publishing, and we can go next again, finish, and again we click apply to commit those settings, and you can see we've got all the applications and desktop deployed. Of course, there's lots of properties that we can go and start changing. Put in that location-based awareness, user-based awareness, of who can access this application, and lots more. But we're going into too much detail now because the main premise is to show you the setup and configuration. So that's pretty much it from the parallel side. So if I come over to here, we are logged into the Kemp Loadmaster already. And at this point, I'll try and hand over to Sid. Let's see how this goes. Shall I mute myself, Sid?
Do you want me to?
Can you hear me now?
There you are, Sid. Good man.
Yeah. What I realized was I was sharing screen and I was navigating Paul's one instead of mine. That's why I couldn't unmute myself. Okay. I'll just share. I'll just get request again. Okay. So as Paul was saying, now we're going to be doing the load balancing section. This part is straightforward in regards to what Paul was showing in terms of the architecture. The load balancer has a template for it. So to find that, we go to kemptechnologies.com or kemp.ax. They both resolve to the same place. And now we're going to be looking for templates. Okay. And once we're there, we then need to also look for the templates itself. Unfortunately, okay, so parallels. There we go. That's fine. So what we also have as well, due to how that looks out, is we have the parallels template here. So I'll just be installing it from here. Come back. So to do that, we go to virtual services, we go to manage templates. So I'm going to choose the file that we have downloaded already. The templates are included as well in the part where I just showed you, we've done some naming in terms of where we put it. So it was just to make either time, make it easy to find. I downloaded it already. So once it's done, we'll then go to add new template. It'll then let us know that we added 3 new templates. Okay. And then we're going to add a virtual service. This is going to connect over and tell the load balancer, look for this particular part of the application. So Paul, we're going to be looking at doing HTTPS and UDP, right?
Yes, I would say do all 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So we'll start off with HTTP. What you'll find is that this automatically populates everything that's listed here. And I'm going to add this virtual service here. Normally, I would go through each of these descriptions here. But for sake of time, the template pretty much takes all of the settings that we need to make sure that Parallels is optimized efficiently from a load balancer's point of view and presets them. The only thing I need to do in this instance here is go to add a new server. So if we come over here, we'll see that this is the first server I'm going to be adding, this RAS one here. So I'll be simply clicking here, copying it over, and adding this real server here. Okay, so that's one server I'm adding, and simply going to the other one and adding that one. Okay, so once I've done that, now I can go back to view modify services, and I can see already that the servers are available and traffic will be sent across over to them. Now, I'll just be adding a couple more to show the complete suite of what we do. Now we change over to 443, and the virtual service settings over here roughly remain the same. As I mentioned already, everything you need to get load balancing is already done for you, which is great, which is a great selling point and one of our biggest selling points when looking at load balancer. So now what we need to do is simply go back and add the servers. And as you can see here, it lets us know which ones we need to add. So adding them is straightforward. Okay. And I'm simply just repeating the process for the last one, which is the UDP over here. So over 443 again. And with this one, in this case, less controls from the virtual service perspective, simply because we don't need them for UDP. Okay, so now that we have finished that, we can go back to view. We can see here that all of the real servers are all being connected through the various different protocols here, as well as the different subsections which Parallels is being used for. And from my point of view, this is all we need to do. It is that straightforward. Paul, what I'll do is I'll hand over to you now so you can demonstrate logging into it. So I'll just take off the remote control and I'll hand over to you.
Okay, thank you. Just check I'm muted. Yeah, perfect. So all that's left to do now is to type in the FQDM that we saw was associated with the certificate. So that is our desktop.app, and we'll hit enter on there. So what's happened is it's initially connected on port 80, and then the secure gateway has said, no, we're not allowing unencrypted traffic, so redirect them to 443, i.e. HTTPS. And so that's what's happened there. And that's already been load balanced through the gateway. And I think if we can do this for you, Sid, we can go to statistics, real-time statistics, look at the real servers or virtual services. We can see that effectively there's been a connection through the load balancer. It's load balanced to node 1 in this case. Now
Yep.
we can see similar thing there. We're connected through HTTPS as well. And then, we can go and log in. So using the same credentials that we were using earlier. Right, yeah. And that's it, we're logging in. It's done a quick check there to see whether I've got the Parallels client installed. I have. So by default, it will launch with that. Or I can right click and say launch with the HTML5 client. So we can show you quickly connecting to that desktop. And there we go. So that's a load balance connection to a full desktop. And if I can get this screen out of my way, move over that way, go back to that tab. We can open up one of these applications as well. And again, I've right clicked and said open within the browser, so we can see that there's Notepad running purely within that browser. So yeah, I think that's it really. So as a quick summary, we've installed RAS. Yes, we had some instances and VMs already pre-created. We've configured up Kemp to load balance the RAS infrastructure, connected through to a full desktop, and we've got applications available too. So I think I can hand back to you, Dom.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Sid. Very kind. I'm just going to take control again. Bear with me 1 moment. Right, so welcome back. So, summary of our key vendors. So, Parallels RAS delivers VDI applications to any device on any OS, anytime, anywhere, giving superior user experience. It's secure, it's easy to install and configure, reduces the need to bring in skill sets from outside the business, helping to reduce hidden costs. It's easy to maintain, reducing IT time and resources required to manage it. And it's highly affordable. I can save up to 60% across the cost of the competition. So the reduction in overall TCO, it's not just the cost, it's also the, I suppose, the hidden costs in terms of installation costs and outside resources and so on, makes this a highly affordable and enterprise-ready solution. We're looking at Kemp with their 4 pillars of success. So easy installation, configuration, deployment. Again, very similar to Parallels. It's a key message for both these vendors is enterprise technology without the enterprise complication in terms of management and so on. Named customer MSSP licensing models means there's a solution available for any customer requirement. Better pricing and low IT management costs make the overall TCO of the solution absolutely compelling. And world-class support, I think a 99% customer rating speaks for itself. Additionally to that, Kemp are currently running a partner promo. When you register a new opportunity, you first of all get £50 Amazon voucher from Kemp once they confirm the lead is a valid opportunity. And then further to that, once the end user has decided to make a purchase on Kemp, Kemp will give you a further £300 Amazon voucher. So it's £350 for a Kemp opportunity for a product that's already compelling in its own right. Can't say better than that, really, can you? And finally, in terms of solutions, Tenzig offer customer-driven solutions, making our devices fit the environment and not the other way around. They have a comprehensive range offering the latest up-to-date enhanced product, optimized for Parallels RAS. And they have UK-based industry experts you can dial into from qualification to configuration. And finally, probably most compelling, built in the UK. That must be a plus in current times. I don't know if anyone here has had experience of Brexit imports, but I think a built in the UK product is going to be a big plus for anyone. Right. So that wraps up the presentation. I hope you found it informative. We're now going to open up for questions. I can see there's a few questions already come in, so just we'll go through those quickly. So first one is to do with DAS, Desktop as a Service. So yes, both Kemp and Parallels have a named customer and an MSSP model available. So you can buy the product either on a subscription basis for a named end user, or if an MSP, you can use both brands again under the MSSP model to actually host it on your infrastructure to deliver it to named or unnamed users You can have as many end user companies on your MSSP model as you wish, and it's a compelling model. From the parallel side, the MSSP model is based upon post activity, so effectively you pay for what you've used in the previous month. Again, it's a good model to have. Right, what else have we got here? Okay, why Kemp load balancer if Parallels has a load balancer? I suppose the main response to that is you're not buying Parallels RAS for the load balancer, you're buying Parallels RAS for VDI and application delivery. Yes, it has a load balancer to a certain degree, but certainly from a granularity and a control point of view, Kemp is a better solution. It has a much better controls and also supports multi-region deployments. So if you had multi-sites, then again, that's something you could look at. Parallel subscription model. Right, so Parallels works on a concurrent user model rather than a named user model. So this is a big plus for organizations who potentially have shared resources. So a lot of VDI models will actually ask you to license every single user in the organization. With Parallels, it's just the number of concurrent users you have at any one time. So for example, if you were a call center, for example, and you're running a shift system of, I don't know, 3 times 8 hour shifts, and each shift is 40 people, then potentially you could get away with as few as 40 licenses, and that would cover all 120 users over the 24 hours. So that would be, again, a big saving for any user. Right, okay, let's see if there's any other questions coming in. Right, so another question, James, monthly subscription. That again, that ties in with the MSSP model. Yes, it is available for both Kemp and Parallels. Do we have any further questions? I can't see anything else coming in. Will the presentation be available later? Yes, it is. We're recording it now. And what we will do is we'll send out links for people to be able to view the presentation through, I think it's going to be LinkedIn and Twitter. Right, that looks like all the questions. I'm going to pass over to my colleague, Andrew Holder. Actually, one moment, just another one coming in. Bear with me. Oh, okay. Here's a question for Paul and Sid, I think. Video and GPU acceleration. That is definitely beyond my skill set.
The short answer is yes. We can do it. Obviously, it ties in with the various underpinnings in terms of hypervisors and the hardware availability. But yes, we can support that through Remote FX.
Brilliant news. I appreciate it. Thanks, Paul. Okay. If we've got no more questions, I'm going to pass over to Andrew Holder, who's going to do the draw for the Amazon vouchers. Let me see if I can't. I think, Andrew, you might need to unmute yourself.
Hey, Dom, I think there's another question that Sam Lambert asked.
I think this is the DAS one, wasn't it?
There's another one that says, how does the solution stack up against Citrix and VMware?
Ah, okay. Didn't see that. I apologize. Okay, so from a technology perspective, both Parallels and Kemp are right up there with the equivalent market leaders, if you wish. All right. So from a technology perspective, they're definitely there. You can achieve the same enterprise class performance with both vendors against the more established names. From a commercial perspective, both Parallels and Kemp are comprehensively cheaper than the main competition, but also from a licensing model, they're much easier to manage as well. As we talked about with the Parallels, it's a single license. Within that license, you incorporate all the product features. There's no modules, there's no add-ons, there's nothing nothing hidden, if you like. And that also includes a 24/7 support. Does that answer the question, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think what I'll add there as well, looking at it from a load balancing point of view, as you mentioned, cost intensity, cost effectiveness, the ease of use is one as well. I've had numerous people, Citrix, who use Citrix in the past, who I've trained mentioned that Kemp is just easier to use in terms of user experience, getting around, and it's just quicker to set up. You don't want to be doing something that takes you over an hour. When with a load balance, you can be up and running from 0 to 30 minutes to do this sort of thing. And as you guys saw here, it took less than 10 minutes for me to do what I had to do to get Parallels up and running.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think this ties in with, I suppose, the hidden costs point of view is not just the cost of the product, but its associated costs, its man hours, its resources required. If you're looking at market leader, for example, it's a very complex solution, and frequently organizations actually need to bring in third-party consultants to actually help with the implementation of the product, which can go on for days and days and days. Both Kemp and Parallels are simple enough from an IT management perspective that any reasonable technical staff should be able to use these products out of the box without really having to take in any sort of outside assistance. So again, that's a hidden cost for the business that you may not be thinking about in terms of the upfront cost, but it will save the company organizations money and time from a deployment perspective as well. Right, okay, I think, are we ready now to go for the, I'm just going to see if I can unmute you, Andrew. Andrew, I think you need to unmute yourself there. There you are.
Hi all.
Okay.
Hopefully you can all hear me.
All right, yeah, I'm going to give you a screen now, so you can take control.
I will stop recording, as it's just the prize draw now. So thank you all for attending this morning.